I'm just making myself tiredly type things before I go to bed because I'm unhealthy like that. Yeah.
You're streaming on Twitch, right? Uh, Set me up with a link. Right on, thank you. This could be fun, because maybe by watching this I can actually learn how to play this fucking game. Oh, sorry, I should probably ask, what kind of rate, like, family friendliness are you going for?
I think he means because he just dropped the F-bomb.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. But okay, so incidental profanity, fine, whatever. Don't be deliberately inflammatory. Roger, good to know.
Alright, I'm gonna play some Magic. And I don't have a terrible hand. For anybody that's actually watching me, I will be talking with friends in my vampire group, so they are here and listening and watching. Some of them, maybe. I don't know. But shout out to anybody that stuck around, and I appreciate it. I got my Goblin Buddy on the chair tonight. We got done playing the Pathfinder 2.0 playtest, the final chapter tonight, and it was epically bad for us. We pulled some really crazy dumb stuff. So
got all quiet in here all of a sudden.
I'm sorry.
I don't. Is everybody? I don't know. Did everybody get quiet because they're watching me? I don't know.
Like, I understand why, but he should.
I mean, maybe it could also be stage fright.
Because, like, for Dan and him, that would be really. No.
Yeah. Dan's character is great, by the way. You know you're on stream too.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I love the character. I think it's hilarious. But just to completely ignore the last 3 fights in the game.
Well, dude, it was getting late. We were tired, and those fights were
A2 higher functionality.
Yeah. I'm not saying don't let him use his ability. I'm just saying don't, like, hey, before you even roll initiative, do it. Like, give us a chance to do something.
I know. Maybe we could have continued it next week and gone on from there. That's probably the better way to go. So.
And is there a language filter on right now?
Yes, please.
Yeah. And honestly, it felt like I was just being crapped on by Vincent the entire time.
Yeah, but you know, that's because you two are brothers and you do that to each other a lot. Alright, go to combat, go to past that, and I don't know if I want to kill this or not, because, yes, let's just finish off the field. So I know you guys were having a terrible time in St. Louis tonight. I don't want to reveal anything on stream because I don't want to blow, you know, Jen's storyline all over the internet. So, how did things go? Terrible, bad, good? Anybody die?
Nobody died, but it was pretty bad.
I would say wonderfully terrible.
Wonderfully terrible. Okay.
There's been no casualties, which somehow makes it worse.
No casualties makes it worse?
Well, there's nothing else to focus on except our own impending doom. There's no one to mourn, no one to make a martyr. As it stands, we're all we all ended up in this lobster trap together.
Yeah, I know it was terrible though when we jumped into it, and we fell into it, so... What am I looking at?
The cat is halfway at it.
Huh?
The cat in the box is hanging almost.
Oh, halfway
completely
off the table,
bed,
yeah.
And it's not even moving.
Okay, so let's...
I just imagine Wishes in an alternate universe, or somebody just like slipping on a banana peel through the arch, just like what? Well, I guess we're here now. This is awful.
Yeah, we had a pack mate that was taken in by the sword, trying to figure out what was good and bad. We went in after him to try to figure out what was going on.
A part of me wants to ask, and did you? But I think that would reveal a little too much for as far as like what to expect kind of trajectory.
Yeah, I can't really say anything because it'll give you too much.
Great, wonderful, tasty mysteries. Mysteries and horror.
Yeah, that's one of the things, like, when I try to create my worlds, I try to make sure that people don't know anything about them. I also try not to play in, like, pre-constructed worlds. Because a lot of people are like, oh, well, I read this in the book, and I read this in the book, and, like, and they'll metagame way too much. So, it's just one of those things that you can't get away from. It happens. Alright, guys, we're gonna go to game 2 for the night. Let's try to
Yeah,
get
I hear ya.
this daily done.
Some people just can't shake the character knowledge, player knowledge thing.
How can it
Um,
be bad, though, having previous
What?
knowledge about the world?
Do what?
At the same
It's not
time,
bad
it's
with having previous
it could be fun to
knowledge
use
It's
a
not, but people use it to their advantage.
pre-generated adventure and then throw some curveballs in.
Well, even with pre-generated adventures and trying to throw curveballs in, a lot of people are like, well, they want to use the raw and beat it to death rules learning things, and if anybody doesn't know what raw is, it's rules as written, R-A-W, raw. So.
Well, that's sweet.
By the way, that was just me being streamer mentality and explaining it on stream.
Yeah, I hear you. At the same time, when I'm running game though, and I haven't had a player like that in a long time, and a contributing factor might have been, well, if you aren't having fun, you can leave, and I'm running game. You know.
Yeah, I try to keep it nice and fair for everybody, and I try to keep a lot of the world hidden from them. I mean, like, I know a lot, there's one player that I have in my Thursday game, my current Thursday game. Well, it's probably, I don't know if I'm going to be able to continue it now that the store is closed, but he doesn't like how I changed the rules. But unfortunately, D&D, it says specifically these are guidelines; they're not set in stone rules.
Yeah, that should be the case with all role-playing games, in my opinion. Right? Like, it's about the story and it's about the table cohesion more than anything.
Yeah, I'm not trying to run a competitive table. I just want to run a game where people are sitting down and enjoying themselves.
He can't do that though unless he's the star of the show.
Dude, you're on stream.
I didn't say.
Right, maybe crack a beer, just have a good time. I agree with that mentality. That's the right mentality to have.
I want people to enjoy themselves. It's like I've been running games for years and years, teaching games. As I've taught for Wizards Coast, for D&D 4th edition, D&D 5th edition. And I know people hate D&D 4th edition with a passion too.
Depends on what you go in there expecting out of it. I rather enjoyed my 4th edition game. I still prefer my 3.5, but...
It is a very strange edition. Like, it did very much go for we have big numbers and anime powers over in the edition.
Yeah, it takes away a lot of what feels like personal control in your character.
Well, my issue with 4th edition, I liked 4th edition. I thought it really made things simple and easy for people to learn, but the problem was is they made it too much like a MMO, a video game, and honestly, it was designed for Neverwinter Online, so since it was built for that, that's what it did.
I'm still not thankful for that.
Do what?
I'm still not.
Oh,
Yeah,
that,
actually,
And I have books for it, kinda. But haven't actually played it.
so it's meant to be a video game, eh?
Yeah, Neverwinter is still running. It's the servers are still up. Yeah, and they banned a lot of players recently because of an update that caused a problem. Because everybody exploited said problem. But they really learned from 4th edition. It's really what helped them build 5th edition into like the breadwinner that it is. It is really what's helping Wizards of the Coast keep that company running smoothly.
Yeah, I rather like 5th edition myself. I think that it's very simplistic, but at the same time it allows for a lot of customization, which is always my favorite part of making, tabletop characters.
Yeah, there are still a couple of things that I don't know why they did away with, but generally speaking, I like 5th edition.
A lot of it was to get rid of the power gaming. Because 5th edition suffered, or 3rd edition suffered from it terribly, and then 3.5 helped it a little bit, and it didn't help it much. Anybody that really liked 3.5 stayed on with Paizo and followed them through over to Pathfinder. And Pathfinder was good except a couple of bogus things that they threw in, and they got rid of those for the 2.0, and that's what we're doing right now. We just finished the 2.0 playtest, So
Yeah, ours were always really heavily homebrewed, so we didn't have a lot of that. Mostly what I didn't understand was like changing feats to be something that you have to forego other things in order to take. Like you have to forego ability score ups in order to take any feats. That didn't make any sense to me.
you mean in 5th edition?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the new feats though give you at least one boost. They give you like a +1 in a stat.
Sorry, I was drinking water. But yeah, it still just feels kind of like a weird and clunky sort of way to do it to me.
Yeah,
It
'cause
is.
apparently
So we're talking about a situation where, like, it makes sense looking at it, but as far as just like feeling goes, it just feels kind of off.
Yeah, like if it does add, or if a lot of them do add to your ability scores, then why take away the actual ability score and not just have it be an optional thing? Like the way that it already is. Because that feels like it's going to invite the same power gaming where you're going to be like, oh, I'm not going to take this because it's going to deny me this bonus that I would have otherwise.
To me, I think 5th edition lacks a lot of customization, even though it is growing. It's been around for 3 or 4 years now, and it still lacks the overall customization that 4th edition kind of had, that it got to, and they didn't even get to their 5-year anniversary. But it'll never compare to the customization that 3.5 and Pathfinder have.
Well, no, I don't think anything will ever like quite hit that, just because there
Yeah,
were
but you've
so
also
many
remembered
additions
you had
to
10 years to
3.5
get to that point.
and so many things that Pathfinder added as it went along. And as far as I know, is actually still adding to them.
But like, as someone who
They also kind of feel like different games at this point. Like there's an actual like separation now with how different 5th edition is from Pathfinder in a lot of crucial ways. Like they just play differently to me. Like Pathfinder, for
This guy's
example,
got
I
a
like
mini, I'm
Pathfinder,
slow rolling him.
but Pathfinder is kind of a you're playing with the mechanics mostly. I've found, right? Like it kind of caters to power gaming because you're interacting with all these different moving parts and seeing how they click together, sort of, for your character concepts, which you don't really get in my experience with 5th edition. But your barbarian in 5th edition is always going to be a barbarian, you know?
Yeah, I would agree with that. Just they took out, and kind of necessarily in a lot of cases, they took out a lot of the bloat and the clutter that you got with 3.5 in particular, and then a little bit with Pathfinder, but
Oh, there is a lot of bloat. But
yeah,
there's also
but
a lot
compared to 3.5.
Yeah, well,
The bloat
I
for
do kinda
3.5
consider-
was all the splat books that came out from like Green Ronin, Mongoose Publishing. You had 3 to 4 other companies producing content.
Yeah, there were so many and some of them were just like books for the Dungeon Master, and books for this, and books for that, and this book that covers this thing that was already covered in this other book, but we're gonna recover it and then maybe put some more into it, I guess, because why not?
Or we could all get Slurpee cups and just agree to play the Shadowrun.
I miss my Shadowrun game so bad.
Which edition though? Because Shadowrun kind of suffers from the same bloat in older editions.
Yeah,
Oh, there's a lot of bloat.
My first run, my only run actually with Shadowrun was with 4th edition, so it's less. It was also in a particular made world where a lot of the information that was there is irrelevant, because it was like a futuristic hop skip from the D&D world that we used. So a lot of like the basic things that you would have, because it was originally like an Earth situation, did not apply. But that's where Asael was originally from, as I think I've told you before, Teddy.
Yes, indeed.
I don't know. I think that's one of the things that's actually so attractive about Jen's game is that for us as role players, and I don't mean like, I mean ROLE, not ROLL, like we really get into the part.
I mean, that's where the magic is, honestly.
Yeah, that's the only way I've ever been able to tabletop.
And that's the same for me. Like my first DM, he was a bit on the rules, but I started in 2nd edition D&D where things weren't super important.
Yeah, I've played very briefly in 2nd ed. Most of my time has been in that homebrew 3.5 setting, which was like what ended up happening with my DMs. We got rid of a lot of like the bloat and the splat books and everything, and it played more like Pathfinder when Pathfinder was baby Pathfinder. So it was before you had a lot of the extra things. So it pulled things just like combining certain skill actions, because it made more sense to us as players than having this giant list of skills that several of them interconnected but you couldn't use together.
I think we're really enjoying the Pathfinder 2.0 playtest, but the one thing I like so about Paizo is they kept true to the 3rd edition system. It didn't deviate too far from it.
I mean, that was their whole company mission statement, right?
Pretty much.
Like, we like 3.5 D&D too much to get rid of it.
I mean, same fam.
And so we at Paizo are just going to refine that concept.
And I mean, I don't blame Monty Cook for doing that. He built probably the greatest system that D&D has ever seen, and stayed true to it as much as he could.
I mean,
Johnny Cook?
Yeah.
Third edition.
they're different vibes though. Like they're different. They're different. They're different experiences. Like I have more fun with tactical combat with Pathfinder and 3.5 than I do with 5.0. But I have more fun jumping into a story right away with 5.0.
Yeah, I'll agree on that. 5th edition D&D, it takes you maybe an hour to make a character, and you are right into the thick of it at that point.
Yeah, like I got my little brother into role-playing recently, and he's running a 5th edition game, and he wants to try 3.5, but it's a little bit intimidating to him. But at least now he's interested where he wasn't interested before this 3.5 at the time, and well, granted he was also as well, or younger. God, long time ago. But excuse me. You know what I mean, though.
No, I understand, because we're having the same issue right now. We've got 5th edition players that we still run a 3rd edition game, like 3.5 on Sundays, and we're bringing brand new players into 3.5, and they are so just overwhelmed and inundated by such a large system.
It probably also been a better idea not to start out doing an epic level campaign.
Do what?
It probably,
Yeah,
honestly,
I've always
the way
been
we're leveling is
like
fine.
the one to be like,
Like,
okay,
starting
well,
out
if you have a character
with a
concept,
level 5,
then I can
level
give you
5
some
levels,
kind of
5
like
levels.
guidance, and that does help. But that was actually why I didn't start playing D&D until I was in college. It didn't feel accessible at all. It was so many books with so much information, and I didn't even know where to begin. And so it was just like, okay, no, that's not for me. And then here we are, so many years later, and I'm just like, okay, but I could run several more of these games.
I think just from the standpoint as a businessman and looking at 5th edition has brought more players into the game, and I just mean people, not gamers, just straight up people into the game, and it has done a lot for it.
I mean, yeah, it's so much more friendly. I think friendly is the word to describe 5th.
Friendly, intuitive. I mean, it's got its feet on the ground. It's not bloated like so many games are.
And it's presented and it plays in such a fluid in such a fluid, like assuming you've never played a role-playing game before, right? It plays in such a way that if you have no experience with role-playing games,
Bad hand key, but I kept it.
you can pick up and understand what's going on fairly quickly.
Yeah,
Whereas,
it doesn't,
like, oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say, it doesn't feel as difficult to get into, like, the actual rolling, because it is a lot simpler than the earlier games.
And then you go over to say, like, you take the same person, never played a role-playing game before, they've seen Blade Runner, right? Shadowrun sounds pretty cool. Try to walk them through the character creation process of, like, Shadowrun, the newest edition or whatever, without them getting frustrated.
It literally took me, I think, 8.5 hours to make my sheet for SIL when I first made it. Just first coming into the Shadowrun system, it's so much, and it makes no sense. Like, they contradict themselves like every 3 pages, I swear to God. And then by the time you finally get it done, you're like, okay, I have the sheet, and then we never use rolls, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, there are plenty of instances of got that problem where when you pick up a book, it's so confusing. And that's what surprises me. Like Pathfinder's not hard to pick up if you've had some experience with any D&D. But you pick up Numenera, which is another Monty Cook game, and it's the most confusing thing ever. But it's like, oh, we're only going to use 4 dice, a D20, a D6, and a 10. And it's like, but your book is confusing beyond belief, and I can't understand how to make a character.
Yeah, I think in Shadowrun, my DM in Shadowrun was just like, we're just gonna kind of wing a lot of this, and you're gonna do this and this and this other thing, and you're not gonna worry about all of this extra information in here. And if you have questions, let me know, but probably it won't matter, so don't worry about it. Whereas my experience with 3.5 was like, okay, there are 80 million books, and I'm gonna stop you right now. You are going to play your first character from only these 3 books, so you don't have to worry about all of that. And then when you have a feel for it, you can start reading into the other stuff and figuring out all of the weird, kooky shit that you want to do.
Yeah, I can agree with that. If anybody has comments on our stream tonight where we're talking about just various different role-playing systems, feel free to leave comments, and I'll try to answer any questions I can, or just reply. Over-investing. Feels so weird. I don't have a job.
That's always the weirdest feeling, especially when it's just out of nowhere.
Sadly, it really wasn't out of nowhere, so we just had so many problems.
Still though, it sucks.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna head out though, guys.
Alrighty.
I probably will as well. I was kind of zoned out anyway. Plus, it is midnight.
No, it's 3 for me, so I'm pushing East Coast time.
Yeah, I was there. I was in Florida before I was here.
Have a good night, guys.
Night night.
You too. Good night.
Play it. pops in and says something. I think she fell asleep. Did the Mish fall asleep? Really, I shouldn't throw that out there. I should hold back, but I gotta out-tempo this guy. He's playing Big Green Stompy too, so gotta out-tempo him really quick with a bunch of weenies before he gets built up. I got my enchantment killers on board because I got my forest, so that's good. I can blow up any I want to do. Keep at it. You can't do anything about this part. I can keep getting like, I mean, Highland game doesn't count, in my opinion. She's gonna fall asleep behind me. Sandra's back there playing some Ark, I think. Or she's falling asleep too. I'm not sure. Everybody's asleep. Probably gonna throw something, right? No, +4, +4. Okay. Curious. One step forward, 2 steps back. He's got a plummet in hand. Sure acts like he does. If he's just holding up, it'd be silly. Probably need my nose plowed in. Oh, 6 drop. Drop a mammoth, or you could drop a something. What can we drop? Yeah, that's what we're looking for right there. I don't know why I put it on that and tapped it, but okay. fight to get some creatures out of this whole lot of creature deck. Good gravy. Alright, so got 6. Go ahead and numerous bombs here. Now the only thing he's got is Druid of the Cow. He'll probably put a Blanchwood armor on it. Make it big. Well, he can't now. I mean, he can, but you just can't attack this turn. So get in for 1 damage or don't. What the heck? What are you watching? So he can yum yum. Well, this is not bad. It won't do much good. We could probably still kill something as long as he doesn't drop a thing on that. So, let's go to combat. Keep hacking away at his eyeballs. Gotta keep myself in the positive. Only 14 more turns till I win with 1 bird. And this is what we hold up for. Indestructible. Get rid of this. Don't pump it. What he should have done, but I guess he doesn't have it in hand. What he's holding out for. That's helpful. Combat. Attack. What you got? Another opponent? Nope. Thirteen more turns. Go ahead and drop that there Blanchwood armor. Nope. Okay. Pump it up. Pump it up. Pump it up. What are you watching, Sandra? Ah. The only thing I gotta worry about is if he drops a Giganosaurus or something, or a Galta. He doesn't have a mana for Galta, but he's got enough for Giganosaurus. I've got Justice Strike, which can take care of both of them, but I don't have enough to take care. I'm sorry, to take care of either one of them, but not both of them. So Galta Curtain costs 12 minus 3, so it's going to cost 9. He only has 7. Giganosaurus is a 5. 10-10 without trample. Galta is more trouble than Giga. Okay. What was that resolve? He should have cast that in combat.
I got most of the flats down on this picture I'm working on, so I'm gonna head to bed.
Alrighty, you have a good night.
You too, have a good stream.
I was all alone. I was all by myself. No one was looking. I blew up a GoPro. Oh, thank you. Let's be careful with how we cast this. Let's go. Ugh, we're only gonna have all that, so let's get this out there.
Beasts are much more reliable than
Critters.
meet my newest friend.
Definitely look for some critters. Do we get another bird or we get the Vanguard? Get the Vanguard. Because they could have a second plummet. We don't want to double down on plummets. Good news is we got a chump in case he throws something huge at me again. And we've got an enchantment killer, an air killer, a artifact killer. And he's attacking me, so we don't care. No blockers. You're gonna hit me for 5. Go ahead and throw that there. Titanic grows out there. Oh no. Taking too long to think about it. Got a Titanic growth in hand? What you got? Nothing? Oh, okay. Okay, let's dig us up another friend.
The wilds are my shield.
No friends, sadly. There's another land out there. It's not an instant, so let's go ahead and get this on. Still got a crushing canopy to deal with Blanchwood armors. We're only going to attack with our healer's hawk. So we can keep the chump on the ground, get the damage. Now if we go with the Vivian, I'm more than willing to let Vivian go. She's motivated enough junk out of the way. So he's going to attack with a Highland game because he wants me to block his, but I'm going to go ahead and eat the damage because I'm not worried about the damage. Should we be worried about the damage? We're going to pass on the block. Let's see what he's got. Let's see if he tries it. Nope. Okay, so he was just looking at the life back. Either that or he's trying to overrun to try to get that out of the way. To bait that out, which I wouldn't blame him. Alright, Vivian, find me some friends. We need some friends. Vivian, come on, please, 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 please. Friends make the world go round. Which is not what Aloysius would say. Aloysius
No
would
one
say
knows
there's
the
no such
wilds
thing as
like
friends.
I do.
Oh, this is a tough choice. Let's go ahead and take the Pride Mate so we can get it big. Throw that on out there. We're going to keep the 2 cards in hand to bait with. Go to combat. We're going to get a trigger, get a life, trigger down to Pride Mate. We have no plans to attack with the Vanguard. Come on. Take action. Go to attack. Little. Not all attacking. It's not attacking 1. Go to damage. Trigger. Bigger. Now he's likely to bait. I'm not going to take the life. Probably gonna bait, so we're not gonna block with this. We might block with this though. We are gonna negate this next turn, so we've got to do something about her. So we will block for her this time. Because last turn he wasn't interested in attacking her, or he didn't know how to attack her. Still not attacking her, he's attacking me. Guys, if you need to attack a planeswalker, click on the creature and then choose your target. It'll give you the option. Here he goes. Okay, now he's figured it out. Nope. Nothing? Alright, good. He realizes what she does. Vigilance, Trample, and Indestructible +2/+2. And he needed to get the Hawk off the field because that wasn't going to be game. Alright. We're not going to dig. We're going to go ahead and get our emblems.
Nature brings your reckoning.
So, I don't know if he's going to let me get it in. I don't have lethal. He blocks. But we will have lethal with this. Combat. We'll attack. We will all in on our attack. He could pump. Save yourself for one more turn. He definitely needs to block. He'll get 2 life and he'll go to 9. But he may be dead before it happens. He's not going to block. He's going to let the game go. Still got people watching me. We're only at about an hour. We can probably do a little bit more. It's only 3:19. Probably could use something to drink, so throat's getting dry. Let's go ahead and claim our prize. We'll get a card out of this. And we got enough to buy a couple packs. I don't think we have enough to do. We could draft Dominaria, but I don't feel like that tonight. Let's take a real quick break, and I'll be right back.
Searching for a longer day. People feeling like the light has just come. We must never stop the way. Yeah. Birds chirping and I hear my name, grasping into a life. Life is happy but it's so insane. We must merely make a start. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll
the microphone. I'm gonna throw some cuteness at you guys real quick. We've rearranged the office and stuff, and our cat Squishy is sleeping on the router right now, while JT is sleeping right next to her. So I'm gonna lift this up. I'll show you that ball of fluff on the router right there. She's eyeballing me because I'm talking to him. You know, she's pretending to be asleep. She's sleeping on our very nice Nighthawk over there, and she shouldn't be while JT is sleeping. So, that's a thing that happens around here every once in a while. Cats like to sleep on warm things. That's why they sleep on your face when you're sleeping, or they sleep on your head when you're sleeping. It's just happens. So let's get that back up there. I got my goblin. My game, I just got back, and my stream of my game is still running. It's that far behind. So hopefully it doesn't put me AFK for too long. I only set it to a short delay tonight, but I think it's gone to a longer delay. I'm not sure if that's our internet causing that problem, or if it's YouTube causing the problem. And I really need to shave because I am turning into a neck beard over here. Alright. Let's find my magic. What did I do with it? There it is. Magic. And I've got way too much frame going on right there. Nope. Come on, camera. Be agreeable. Alright, guys. I'm looking back and I said I didn't want to draft. I kind of want to draft now. Let's see. I got 2 people watching. See if Bright's still on. See if I can get people to watch me draft. Drafting is my favorite thing. I really do prefer it. I like sealed a lot, and draft sealed is just, it's a thing where I don't know. I guess I like the randomness of it. I like the unpredictability. That's what I should say. I don't like the randomness. I like the unpredictability of building decks. Now, Arena makes it difficult to draft because you're not drafting against your pod. You're drafting with a pod, and then once you're out of that pod changes, and you're thrown against everybody. So they could have drafted the exact same set of cards as you. Obviously, they're going to be drafting, like if I'm drafting Ravnica, they're drafting Ravnica. I'm not going to play against someone who drafted in a Dominaria draft. But I don't like the fact that, you know, you can't get like 5 of the same rare in the same draft, but it's possible. But 2 people can't get that many in a draft, so that's what kind of makes it kind of hinky. So I think I've lost Bright. I think he's gone to bed. Yeah, I think. Lost a couple of people. That's okay though. Maybe I'll draft later. I'm at an hour. I'm probably gonna call it for the night. It's 3:30. I probably should go to bed. So that's my opinion on drafting. That's my opinion on D&D 3.5, Pathfinder 2.0, a lot of different things. So if anybody's got any comments, you can drop them in the channel, and I'll try to answer them in a timely fashion. So thanks, guys. Have a good night.